A very good afternoon, ma'am. On behalf of PayPII,
Very
I
good
as well would like to welcome you to this AMA session regarding the course which has been introduced in IIFT on Fintech. Before proceeding, I'd like to tell my viewers more about Dr. Satinder ma'am. She's currently the head of distance and online programs at IIFT, that is Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, New Delhi, and she's a professor of finance. She holds PhD in financial management from Delhi University with thesis in cost of capital and corporate policy with special reference to the role of account information. She is also a PMP from PMI USA. She was honored by CMO Asia with the best professor in financial management in July 2011. She has written tons of research paper and articles, and definitely she's an epitome of knowledge when it comes to finance. So today we'll get to know from ma'am why IIFT had decided to commence a course in fintech domain. So ma'am,
Yes.
I officially welcome you to this podcast video where we would be interacting much more about the course.
Right. So on your question as to why the institute, just briefly first on my institute, as you know, it stands for the Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. So certainly, yes, our specialization is foreign trade, and everything that helps the country and individual exporters achieve those targets is also part of what we teach and research on. And therefore, international finance becomes a very crucial part even for the success of foreign trade. So the Institute has been in existence since 1963, and over the years, we have now a big portfolio of the programs, including MBA in international business. And as part of international business, we are offering our students all the courses that actually are relevant today. That has always been our endeavor. Being an autonomous institute, we have complete freedom in changing our courses as we think it fit as per the requirements of time. Today's requirement is definitely on fintechs. Fintechs are everywhere now, not just related to the financial services industry. In fact, this morning only I was reading about India's agriculture and how fintechs are even helping in the water measurement for Indian agriculture. So this is our current belief that the fintech industry is going to keep growing. There is not going to be any stoppage. All the existing institutions, which are banks and non-bank institutions, are now racing to keep up as far as the customer engagement is concerned. I suppose gone are the days when the customers do not get a good treatment when they go to the banks. It used to be said that banks are the only place where customers are not recognized as customers, taken for granted because they had a monopoly position. But fintechs have broken that monopoly position. And now we are even seeing an extension of the industry in the sense that there are specific firms that are serving the fintech industry. So definitely the growth in fintech industry is going to stay, and it is our endeavor that we disseminate knowledge to all the young population of the country and beyond as to how they should be coping up with these skills so that they are ready to face any industry, not just the financial industry, even the other industries, since they are using fintech. So even the youngsters who want to work in other industries, for them also, knowing about fintech, knowing the potential about fintech is going to matter a lot in the coming days.
I can't agree, ma'am. I can't agree more, ma'am. Like fintech has been the new oil. So what exactly are your views on it? Is it a reality, or you think that the fintech domain is completely hyped at this moment of time? What are your views that what exactly is the reality behind fintech?
See, as far as oil means, it's a lubricant. All right. It is making things move. And certainly, that's what I have just been emphasizing, that it is fintech industry that has been able to make the established huge industries, huge banks also move forward. So it is not just that the fintech industry is growing at a very rapid pace, it is actually helping these so-called big modes. When you attain a very big size, then it is generally very difficult to move in a very nimble manner. All right. But if you can make even such monopoly institutions talk about customer relationship management, partly because of fear, all right, because fintech companies are kind of, you can say, eating into their business. So there is a fear that if we don't move at a rapid pace, then we will be taken over. All right, even if that might be only one minor part of their business. It is a realization that this thing has crept in, and tomorrow it might go into other segments. Already we are seeing fintechs moving from payments, like India has done very well in payments. But beyond payments, now we see in lending, we are seeing into asset and wealth management, investment management, and even RegTech, that is what is being talked about, which is really helping the government in the regulation. So fintech is here to stay, definitely. All right. And therefore, I do not think it is any hype. But certainly the fintech industry itself also has to inculcate skills in the industry. Today, with all the skills that they have, yes, they have been able to disrupt the established banks and non-banks. But tomorrow, if that disruption pace has to continue, even the fintech industry will need to be having some upskilling. Okay, so in that sense, if you may say, it's a hype of what we can do with the existing skills. All right. But in terms of their potential, if they themselves go up the skill level, as we said, other industries are supporting them. In fact, we have seen a lot of private equity investment in the fintech industry. So there are so many others who are supporting. So with their continued growth path on capacity building within the fintech industry and partnership with others, definitely it seems like nowhere near a hype. It is certainly a reality.
Even I agree, ma'am, that artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and all the domains of fintech are definitely a true part of the Indian markets as of now. We are also seeing that payment systems and all the financial systems have been disrupting different domains of the Indian market, and people are also accepting it quite heavily. So my next question is, like, how do you think that what should traditional people do to adopt this fintech domain? Like, what would make them comfortable in adopting the adopting the fintech portion of the market?
See, honestly, I think our banks have made quite substantial changes. And partly it is because of the fintech industry's growth. I remember the earlier SBI chairperson Mrs. Bhattacharjee, today she's credited with bringing about some large-scale digital changes in SBI. And remember, when the organization is very huge, when you really don't have a hire fire system to motivate people to adopt digitalization in such a large way, I would say it is no easy joke. All right. And therefore, yes, our banks have done a lot. So what can they do? Definitely, everyone knows if there's a fintech, that means there's a tech element. And what should existing banks do? They have to adopt digitalization. And it is not just buying the equipment. Everybody can buy some artificial intelligence technology, etc. But we also need proper uses of that technology. So they have to train their employees in all these technology, just first to understand the technology. What can AI do? Because the first question from employees who have been working for more than 20 years or even 40 years is, why should I know? My work is going on smoothly. Exactly. Why should I learn new technology? So I think SBI and all other banks also are taking up this employee reskilling in a very serious way. And apart from that, the banks know that while that process is going on, the second process is just employing young people, right, who are excited about it. All right, it's not just that they have the skills. Definitely, IIFT is going to provide the skills, but IIFT will also excite them. Right? There's a particular excitement, and excitement comes on the potential of what all you can achieve because you have these skills. That is super excitement. As we said, that you can make an elephant move. If an ant can make an elephant move, it's super excitement. All right. Suddenly you feel that there is no limit to all that you can do. So yes, this is something that will be exciting for young people, and banks are realizing. So banks are doing both the things simultaneously, training their existing employees, and having new people in their workforce, and continuously motivating them. I mean, it's not like a one-step in 2020 or 2021, we employ a few young people and that's it. No, it has to be continuous motivation and continuous review of all that can be done with fintech, because as I said, the fintech industry itself must grow, and grow means do new things, achieve new heights. And it is our young population which have to have that far-sighted vision to take fintech industry from what it is today to maybe 100 times bigger than that in a few years' time.
So ma'am, like we've been seeing that the current valuation of fintech is growing every day, and people are much more interested in, getting into the fintech industry. So what, according to you, are the drivers of fintech industry, which are driving fintech so fast? People are getting into it. People are trying to adopt new changes of the fintech industry. So what do you think that what drives the fintech industry?
So you can say that there are two forces. One is the enabling forces, all right? So the growth of technology that is taking place, we know that there are technological changes that are moving at a very fast pace. So having technology do so much more than what was earlier possible opens up new avenues for us. Right? So like we had supercomputers, being able to process information at a much faster rate, and therefore being able to provide solutions at almost real time. So this is a very big enabling forces. The power of our technology is growing. That is why we are talking about quantum computing and all other things, which would not have been possible otherwise. So it is one of the strongest weapons in our hand. It's like we go in the war field, and if we have a good weapon with us, then we know that we can be victorious. So today, technology is such a powerful instrument in our hand. We know that it has huge power. Now it is on us as to where we take its power, right? Because we know that power has to be used extremely carefully. It must solve people's problems. It must be used only for that purpose, and not of any particular segment of population. It has to solve widespread problems that are there. It is to provide solutions to those problems. Mass mobilization and mass solution provider, that is what it has to be able to do. So technology, where you drive is where, that's where human beings come. Yes, it is very powerful, but where are we going to use it? What are those problems that will need to be addressed by such a powerful weapon? I mean, the problems, smaller problems can be addressed by other weapons. You don't need a super computer or, a super IoT or AI to solve those problems. If I'm employing AI or IoT, it is not just because it's fashionable to say, oh, we have AI or we have IoT. All right. It is more important as to what are the problems that are getting addressed by such powerful weapons. And therefore, our population, particularly our young population, and of course, I would say even the leaders at the top, they first have to be able to identify the problems that need priority attention, where there will be mass benefits, right? Because it has to be absolutely kept in mind that benefits cannot be pocketed by a few. If that happens, then definitely the whole power of tech is gone, and people are not going to get excited about it. So people should be excited about, solving the deep-rooted problems very, very fast. And as I was saying, the potential is in their hands, but the leaders must chalk out the right path. So that is a very big enabling force, the power of technology. The second is the upskilling, all right, which is also going at a very fast pace. But again, we have to realize that we must go for that kind of a program that really addresses all the requirements. Again, there can be some very focused programs. And when I say focused, I mean focused towards a particular segment of population. That should not happen. Even within companies, the leaders may do something that just benefits the top segment in the company. That should not happen. All right. So this is the reason the upskilling is going on in a very big way. And I would say several organizations are there and a lot of webinars are there. I myself have attended so many webinars on fintechs, and some of the very good ones globally that are organized. Now, all these webinars do what? Again, they just tell us as to what is the most relevant thing today. So they kind of provide you the excitement, the motivation to go for a structured program. Because before you actually take up a job, you definitely have to do the skilling in a very structured way. So that is again one of the very big enabling forces. So technology and the skilling that is going on both enable the fintech industry to grow very fast. The other is, what are they disrupting? They're disrupting, as we said, the established players. Yeah. So something must have gone wrong in the established players. I mean, when I say go wrong, maybe they haven't moved at the pace that they should have moved. So they are not able to address the problems of the customers in a way that they have the potential, because they are monopoly institutions. So they certainly have the power. Just like there's power in technology, there's power in being a monopoly. power in being a monopoly again means you can take very quick decisions, but you have to set up processes for that. So maybe particularly we have seen after the 2008 financial crisis, the general public were a little less optimistic about the banks.
Yeah.
Earlier the banks, we would consider them as temples, all right, that anything that I have to deposit my money, I have to rely on some institution, I have to consider an institution of integrity. I would say nothing better than the banks. But the financial crisis of 2008, we saw that banks crumbling down. So where I'm depositing my money, they are crumbling down, and I am losing all my money because they have not managed to move as fast, to move in the direction that they should have. Like they should have adopted technology in a big way. And remember, these institutions are highly, highly regulated institutions.
Exactly.
So despite the amount of regulation that they are under, still things went wrong, and still so much of subprime crisis occurred. So the public perception about banks changed a little, and they were thinking that, yes, at least some activities that banks are doing, if other institutions can take that space, it will be good. And that's what the fintech industry has done. They have taken the space, at least in some segments. And that's also a beauty, because at least if I set up a bank, I have to offer all the products.
Yeah.
Right? But a fintech industry, they can do only payments or only lending or only investments. So that is their plus point also. So, because of these enabling forces, as well as, some, you can say, weaknesses in the established players, the growth of fintech industry has taken place, and it will continue to take place.
That's quite an answer. I'd like to my next question is somewhere down related to the part where you mentioned the banking sector going down in 2008 due to financial crisis. So I have this thing in mind that during that time itself, there was a guy called Satoshi Nakamoto who started developing a concept of blockchain. He developed Bitcoin also. So my next question is, how big is the blockchain domain under the umbrella of fintech? What do you think that what is the future scope of blockchain technology in India or globally? As we are seeing that people are, generally accepting cryptocurrencies, and they are not aware what exactly is going behind the curtain, behind the technology. People are just interested in cryptocurrencies. So how big is the blockchain domain when it comes to fintech industry?
Fintech industry means, as again we say, use of technology. Use of technology on what? On data.
Yeah.
Data is absolutely crucial for fintech industry. That is why nowadays we have these new terms called data integrity. Earlier we were only talking about integrity of human beings.
Exactly.
But now we are talking about integrity of data. So new words, data mining, data storage, all those terms have come. So we recognize that data is absolutely crucial. And data is important because I am not now depending on, you can say, kind of a survey where I ask maybe 100 persons and then I get their responses and then I take a decision.
Yeah.
If I have a large amount of data with me, I can work on this data in different samples and arrive at what should be the correct decision to be taken. But somebody has to tell me that this data is correct. It is a data which is characterized by integrity. Somebody has to assure me that this data no one can manipulate, no one can change fraudulently. Because if somebody did that and my decision is on all the algorithms using this data, then there is a severe problem.
Yeah.
So data safety therefore becomes absolutely crucial. So these things are important. And you know what, earlier we used to say that we will ensure that human beings are not stealing something in the company. Now it is that our technology has to be protected, data has to be protected. That is why we are talking about cyber security. So if we have to be in fintech industry, and even the regulators have now understood, all right, and that is why we constantly get messages from our regulatory authorities, beware of your transactions. Even the banks are telling us. So cyber security is at the top. Only organizations that can ensure cyber security can actually make hay with fintech. Otherwise, we have seen even in our country, at the initial stages of fintech industry, even in payments, we have seen a lot of members of our public unfortunately being duped. All right. And therefore, you know, when the fintech industry is growing, we have to constantly educate the public on how to keep themselves safe. And in the companies, the data integrity has to be ensured. So blockchain technology is one of the very, again, strong ways to keep our data safe. Blockchain technology ensures that only members within that group will be able to see the information, will be able to change only if all the others agree to it. So there is no third party verification. It is all the members in the group. If anybody makes a change, it is visible to all the others. All right. So as I said, since cybersecurity is at our priority attention, therefore blockchain technology, which helps us protect our data and keep the data integrity, is also very crucial. That is why I would say fintech industry and blockchain technology have to go hand in hand with each other. Right now, one might say, oh, but we have seen some instances, even in the past 1 or 2 months, where there have been some hacking, even though there was blockchain technology. But I know in many cases, the people who had stolen data or something else, with even the blockchain technology being there, couldn't use what they had stolen, because immediately information was sent across to everybody to not buy the things that that person has stolen. So we don't know who has stolen, but if he has stolen and if he wants to make money, he'll have to sell it somewhere.
Exactly.
To sell it, right, so the people are already informed not to buy. And therefore, you know, there are people who have returned whatever they had stolen because they knew that they couldn't use it. So yes, blockchain technology is absolutely crucial, and crypto is another element that makes blockchain technology safe. It makes it work. Therefore, all these things have to go together.
Ma'am, like since we started, we've been talking about the advantages and the prominent points of fintech industry. So my next question is, what do you think? What are the risk factors and what are the challenges of fintech industry?
I think I will continue with what I just said, which is keeping data very secure. Right. This is going to be a continuous challenge despite use of blockchain technology, because as they say, rule breakers, generally are considered to be smarter than rule makers. Fortunately, this is no rule, this is a technology being used.
Yeah.
Right. But still, we have to even continuously consider cases which may be hacked. I mean, this has to be continually on our minds, despite the best minds working, despite the power of technology. So this thing is absolutely crucial. The other is a step before this, which is, as I said, a fintech. I mean, algorithms are possible not because I'm taking a survey of a large sample, but it is possible because of the large amount of data in front of me. So there has to be proper data collection. We need vast amounts of data to be collected before I can use any technology on that data. So a lot of people have to be collecting the data, and that itself is a skill. Because you see, data collection is not just I see data somewhere and I just copy it down, because I have to be able to understand which is the relevant data, which is not. Often there will be missing data in many of the time series data, even in certain publications. How do we deal with missing data? How do we deal with certain big events that have occurred? So how do we compare data prior to that event and data after that event? So all these things are now, possibly we were learning something in statistics and never used it, but the young population which is going to join the fintech industry has to understand all these steps too. The data collection, the data arrangement, and all the statistical tools on what data is really saying to me. All right, so whatever statistical, non-statistical technologies can be used to better understand the data. Today, we have organizations that are either not able to collect the relevant data, and we use one term called data cleaning. Yeah. Right? So after collection of the data, you also have to clean the data as per requirements. So your requirements must be stated very correctly and very succinctly. Only then I can clean the data. Because different organizations may clean the data differently. And then understanding the data. Now, sometimes, organizations are saying, oh, there's a flood of data, and we don't know what to do with it. Just like when there is normal flood of water, it becomes destructive. So a flood of data also, suddenly we feel, oh, we can't handle this data. There is data coming every second. I mean, how do I analyze? Normally when we would say analyze, we'll say, okay, we'll take data from 2015 to 2021. But 2021 also data is continuously coming at such a rapid rate that I feel that 2015 to 21 data has already become outdated. And therefore, these skills are going to continue to be important. If organizations cannot collect data or cannot understand their data, then definitely employing technology on that data doesn't really become any useful path it creates.
Yeah. Ma'am, on that note, my next question is regarding to the course IIFT has been offering. So this course, how exactly will it make the corporate professionals or the young generation of India skilled in terms of fintech? What exactly is the course, commenced by IIFT offering for the corporate professionals or the youth of India? What are the skills they'll be getting after they complete this course?
So first, this program is not like a long one-year program, and neither it is a very short program like a 2-day program or a 3-day program. It is a program that is in a very concise fashion going to provide all the inputs that are necessary for young population to make a career in the fintech industry. That is why we've kept it as a 4-month certificate program. We also understand that many of the professionals who will be doing this program are already working, and therefore they are not available on many days of the week. So we are conscious the institute has been running several programs for working executives on weekends, and we've found them to be highly popular with all the working professionals coming from different industries. So we'll be following the same module. So we will be offering this fintech program only on Saturday and only on Sunday. While other programs, we still teach the entire day of Saturday and entire day of Sunday, which also becomes very taxing for the professionals. But in a long duration program, like a diploma program or a degree program, that will in any case become necessary. Yeah. Since this is a certificate program, we are scheduling classes only for 3 hours on Saturday and 3 hours on Sunday. And this we feel is definitely something that the working professionals can manage. What is going to be taught in it is the potential of fintech. All right, what fintech industry can do in so many other industries, in banking, concepts of open banking, concept of red tech, concept of insurance tech, all that is related. And payments, I'm sure all our young population have been making payments only through technology. Yeah. All right, but now the businesses, tomorrow our young people may even set up like startups they are setting, and India has become a center of startups. So the moment you set up a startup, the first thing that you need is money for your business. All right. And therefore, lending by other institutions, maybe the banks and the others, how the banks can lend you money very quickly. In other words, your application has to be processed extremely quickly. Fintech industry is helping the banks do that. So we say fintech industry is not just disrupting the established players, it is now actually collaborating with the established players so that the processes that serve the customers can become very quick. So we are going to do this very diligently and by people who are actually in the industry itself. So we have some IIFT alumni who are working in the fintech industry and even others. So we have 3 faculty members who will be addressing the audience. And since it is by people who are already in the industry, definitely they will be able not just to tell the history of how the fintech industry has grown, that is obviously very important, but where do we take the fintech industry now and what do we do, how the collaboration with government, with other organizations, with PE industry, how the collaboration with all of that is going to help India and other countries also solve their very vexed problems with the cooperation of the many.
So ma'am, regarding this course, if you would like to give us a brief about what exactly is the fee structure and how one could actually pay, whether there are EMI options available for the students or the professionals, and let's say if they have any sort of query, how should they get in touch with the institution or the faculty members? If you could give us a brief about it, that would be quite helpful for the professionals and the students also.
So first, I will request everybody to visit the IIFT website. Okay, and that is www.iift.edu. Right? And why I'm saying the website, because the program has been advertised on the website. So a lot of details will be available on the fintech program, including the 9 modules, of the program. So we're going to have 9 modules over the 4-month certificate program. And as I said, we have 3 faculty members. So each one of them will take 3 modules. So there are details of these modules available. So that's the information part. Then, as you said, how do we apply? What are the dates that are important? Again, it is all the application will be done only through the website, right? Because there are those links available for application, for payment of fees, that all those links are on the website. So like we have written that all your applications must reach by 8th of January, all right, because we are going to start the program from the middle of Jan, the weekend of that month. So by 8th of Jan, you have to apply. And yes, the course fee is very important for anybody who joins the program. So since there is going to be very close attention, we have kept our fees at a very competitive level given the quality of the program. It is 90,000 rupees, 90, which will be paid in 2 installments if anybody wants to. So the first 50,000 is when you enroll for the course. So along with your application, we expect that 50,000 to come in. Only then we know that you're seriously interested in the program. And then we will take the next installment only later, and that could be 3 months later. So there will be sufficient time for you to arrange for the next 40,000 rupees. All right. So this fees, we ensure, is definitely going to help you make a career in the fintech industry, and a very quick career, because it is the fintech knowledge, the skilling that you have done. It is the skilling by the industry experts, the best industry experts. And of course, we ensure, because the Indian Institute of Foreign Trade brand is a very big brand, and we ensure that the contents will be delivered as per the brand quality. The institute has got different departments because we have different types of training programs. So this particular department, which deals with online programs, is the one which has advertised the fintech program. We call it the Center for Distance and Online Programs. So as you said, how does one contact? So first is that even if you call IIFT and you want to talk to somebody, then you please ask for the Center for Distance and Online Program department. Okay, and there will be people to take the call. Otherwise, the telephone numbers and all would be available on the website itself. Okay, so my name, as you have already said, Dr. Bhatia, I'm always available to answer the queries. Then from my department, there is Gagan Arora, who generally answers all the queries of the students. Whatever they may be relating to fees, or some people face some problem in the technology when they have to apply. So any technological glitches that there may be, so Gagan helps to sort it out. So that is what it is, the website, any telephone to the Center for Distance and Online Programs. And of course, anyone can send me also a mail, my full name, Satinder Bhatia @iift.edu. I will be happy to answer any email from anyone. You will get a quick reply for sure.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And before concluding, I'd like to state few facts that the date of enrollment for this course is 8th of January. And the fee of the course is somewhere around $1,200. And trust me, guys, I personally feel that this amount is quite, sustainable. It's quite reasonable considering the fact, the brand value of IIFT. It's a premier institute of India. And I hope that you guys would enroll and you would be learning a lot in terms of fintech. And you'll be uncovering and discovering the truth behind the fintech industries. You will be learning a lot. And personally, I'd like to thank you, ma'am. I'd like to thank you for your time, for your consideration, for your, for taking out so much of time and so much of efforts. Thank you so much, ma'am.
There's no sound. There was no sound.
So, ma'am, I'm saying thank you so much for your time and effort. Thanks for, getting us to know what exactly fintech is all about. And I'd like to personally thank on behalf of PayPII for coming and talking to us and making people understand what fintech is all about and how IIFT would be, giving out information through this program and helping out new professionals and corporate people or young generation of India in terms of being skilled when it comes to fintech domain. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for your cooperation, and thank you for this platform to reach out to the young people. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.